Welcome to West Nile Sports for the second episode of the live show on this platform. I'm sure you enjoyed the previous episode that we aired some time back. We have exclusive sports and entertainment. In the entertainment sector, we do have Dranix, who will be mixing live for you here as well. One of the best DJs, not one of the best DJs, anyway, the best DJ in Uganda. Tonight, I have a special guest in the names of Engineer William. You're most welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Otelul, and I'm totally very humbled being onto the show, West Nile Sports. Believe me, being here at the end of the day, I'm right here, and we are good to go as far as the sports is concerned.
It's been a while. I welcome you back home. Straight to the point, we will be discussing the best XI that is being assembled by West Nile Sports, the UPL 11 of the year, assembled by West Nile Sports. I and William Oloya will go through that. You have been officiating these games. You know what these players are capable of doing. You know who is good, who is average. As a referee, you always do that assessment as a normal person, as a sports pundit as well.
Well, definitely when you look into West Nile, we have a lot of talent, by the way, a huge crop of players. And when you look at all the teams in the Premier League, at least you can't fail to get 3 or 4 players coming from West Nile. You look into way back from Coca-Cola, we have very many players. You talk about the big league. So West Nile has got a lot of talent. So I believe that with the talent we have, we're in the Premier League, totally a lot of talent coming from West Nile.
Okay, let's get straight to the point and look at the team that is being assembled by West Nile Sports in a 4-3-3 formation. The goalkeeper that is picked from West Nile in that poll is Alionzi Nafian. He stays in goal. Across the back four, you have Geriga Atendele, commonly known as Kapi from this land. On the left-hand side, notes a rare name that is Mustafa Chiza, who is being preferred on the left ahead of Rashid Okocha of Onduparaka FC. Centre-back partnership, Bashir Asiko of Vipers, alongside Mohamed Rashid of Onduparaka FC. 3 across the midfield, you have Gigi Gift Ali, together with Gaddafi Wahab, Abang Cromwell, finishes the 3 up. Then in the attack, you have Fahad Bayo, Anako Sadat, the young player, Malingumu Julius of Onduparaka FC. So many people do not know about Malingumu, whether he is a West Niler, he is a true son of the soil. So let's go through the team. Let's start with Nathan. Is it worth picking him in that position?
Well, apparently when you look at Nathan, actually grew through the ranks from Arua Kids League. He went to Chivuli, he went to Ombachi, and he had a very good stint with his career, starting with Onduparaka, moving to URA, being on the bench, because remember that actually at the time when he went to the URA, he had a crop over a very good goalkeeper by the way. Into the team of URA, he was very patient. He kept on growing each day and night. So I believe that with no more doubt, when you look into West Nile right now, Nathan is the number 1 as far as the goalkeeping is concerned.
What has he added new in the URA department of custodians?
Well, I believe that he has been very patient. He has gained a lot of confidence, by the way. When you look at the save he has been undertaking, and you get way back when they were playing Vipers, and when even they went to for Sekafa in Tanzania some time back, it was actually superb, and he was even voted the goalkeeper of the tournament. So I think that he has grown, he has matured. He's totally very good when it comes to the aerial presence. However short he is, you can't take it away from him.
What took Sam Simba long to have such a custodian? I look at Nafia, not only a goalkeeper best in West Nile, but the whole league. You can compare him to any best goalkeeper in the league. What took Sam Simba long?
It will get back to the discipline, by the way. When you look at Nathan, the way he grew up as a player is totally very disciplined. He can listen. He has been very patient. And I think that is one of the players I look from West Nile that he has actually have one of the best discipline as far as the game of football is concerned and the growth into the international level is concerned. And I still have that belief that this boy will actually totally go far. And his career may not only end within East Africa, but we expect him to go as far as possible.
Someone will say he's someone who loves academics. He has been concentrating so much into his university studies. Like you've said, he's a well-disciplined player. Is he ready for the national duties?
Well, when you look into the ranking, because Onyango is actually aging, you talk about also Watenga is not into the country. One of the colleagues was actually in URA, actually also left the country, went to Zambia. I think when you look into the ranking, it's actually coming so close, but I think it is not so much that we have to give him a lot of time, by the way, because the ranking is still quite long.
Now, let's look at that boy at the right-back position. Played for Nduparaka FC in his first debut in StarTimes Uganda Premier League, previously playing Masaza, that is Geriga Atendele. Some people call him Atendele, but the right pronunciation is Atendele. Some people say he's better than Paul Wheeler.
Well, to me, I watched Mekropa for the last 2 years. He has actually been very good. You talk about Atendele. I knew him way back from Koboko. He has actually came to Nduparaka. He has matured. He has very good runs. And to me, the best thing is having actually the final delivery to the strikers from the wings. It is actually very good. Though Apollo Wheeler actually is fast into the running point of view, but the final delivery carries a lot of magnitude.
So you talk about the final delivery. You all remember that cross in Plisna Cup where he delivered a cross to Beto Bashir. He scored. Then there was that goal against Express, which was again a headed goal. The cross came in from Geriga Atendele. The point is, if he's better than Wheeler, which means the national team is getting closer, maybe to call him, we'll be having another West Niler in the national team. Now let's move to Mustafa Chiza. Why, is he always preferred saying he is the best left back in the league?
Maturity.
What's special about him?
It will get back to actually the work rate of himself, his defending antics, and also the moving from flank left to right. Those crosses they bring in very good into the free kick option, by the way. Believe me, when you look into the league right now, you can't take it away from him because he has actually been superb. A left back actually who plays into the defense, moves ahead to score a lot of goals. To me, you can't actually push it out of Mustafa Kiza.
But personally, I've felt Mustafa Kiza has not had the best season like other season if you compare with the current ended season, which was dropped down because of the pandemic. Maybe because he was dragged into the transfer sagas up and down, also having 3 agents who kept on telling him, I can get you a club. The other one says, I can get you a club. He was supposed to travel together with Alan Okello to Algeria, but it all failed because there was some dilemma coming around. Let's look at the centre-back partnership, Mohamed Rashid alongside Asiku Bashir. How do you rate Mohamed Rashid?
Well, he has been good by the he has grown from Nduparaka and he has been performing very well to them. Remember that actually some time back, a bit of exodus coming, a pair leaving the club, gave him more chance to actually mature into the back four. Simba actually also, by the time when Simba was there, he never had those big chances of him penetrating. But I believe that the guy, as we speak right now, is actually very good. You can't play Nduparaka minus him at the back.
Now, let's look at another West Niler who has been a champion with the Venoms. That is Asiku Bashir. If Livingstone Mulondo is fully fit, if you have Halid Lualiwa fully fit, Geoffrey Waswa fully fit, do you think he gets a straight starting slot?
Well, last season, but he has actually been very instrumental into the team of Vipers SC. When you look at the boy, he grew through the ranks from Coca-Cola. He has been maturing from Chitende. He was very patient. Vipers they were having very many crop of players by the time when this young man was growing. So I believe that the time he has actually taken, to me, he has matured and he has been very patient. Any coach who comes, I think by the time when Golua came back for the second time, he had the best of his performance. I've never seen him playing like that. The best time I saw him playing was actually way back in Coca-Cola for Chitende.
That is the back four. Let's move to the midfield 3 and we start with Mr. Passer. That is Mr. Gift Ali. So many commotion caused when he was not summoned to the national team. Why was he not summoned? We all felt that he was the best midfielder.
Well, you can't dare to actually Gift Ali. There's no one in this country who say that Gift Ali shouldn't actually be into the national team for the CHAN. But I think it will also get back to the philosophy of the coach, what the coach wants to do, what type of formation the coach wants to have, what philosophy he wants to run. But I think that Gift Ali, to me, I will give him 100% to play into the national team, even the senior team, by the way. Because when you look at his performance, he had been carrying KCC behind his back. By the time when the likes of Muzali Mutiaba could not perform very well, he played one season, he became very strong, and is totally actually the pillar of Team KCC. And even the coach, that is Mike Mutebi, came out to point out that the team is actually standing out of that is Gift Ali after Alan Okello leaving to Algeria.
some people will be asking, what has Mike Mutebi changed about Gift Ali? When he was playing for Abdallah Mubiru, while at Police and also Proline, he was not the player we know right now currently at KCCA. But I think Mike Mutebi, one, has worked on his fitness. If you look at Gift Ali of Proline, Gift Ali of Police FC, he's a chubby Gift Ali. But the Gift Ali of KCCA is a much fitter Gift Ali. And then playing in shape, he looks to be playing rapidly in shape. The leadership skills and so on is so massive with Gift Ali. And also using that ball has been one of the perfect things Gift Ali has learned under Mike Mutebi. Back to home, Gaddafi Wahab loves to call himself Alcantara. He comes as one of the midfield three. Performed for Wakiso Giants like he has never performed for Nduparak FC.
It actually brings a bit of laugh into my face because the boy I saw him growing from Arua Kisley. I officiated him when he was actually around 10 years. He played for Arua Primary. He grew up very well. He played the regional. He gained a lot of experience. And I think by the time when he was actually joined Nduparaka, he had actually played a lot of football by the way. But I think that away from Nduparaka to Wakiso Giants, to me, he has given me more dimension. I think he needed to prove people wrong that leaving Nduparaka would not actually be the last for him to have the best of his talent. So I looked at him. Actually, I watched him for a crop of games for that is Wakiso Giant. He has actually performed totally beyond my expectation.
He has played as a fullback. He has played as a winger. He has played as a midfielder. Number 3 is Abang Cromwell. He comes in the midfield 3. Quick one about Abang Cromwell. Phenomenal.
Well, the guy comes all the way from that is Pakwach district. He had a stunt with the Pakwach youngsters before actually playing for Paida as well. Actually, to me, I think we have a lot of group of players by the likes of Cromwell and Abang. It is all about when you give them the chance, they need to perform. I think that is the best thing West Nile guys need to understand and learn, that when you have the chance, I think that is what Sam Simba actually has paid out for him. He gave the young man the chance, and at the end of the day, the boy has performed to him. He has been coached to a national team. I think that is an A+ for him.
He lost the gong to Stephen Mukwala narrowly. That is Mr. Fahad Bayo. He is in the 3-prompt attack of West Nile best team.
Talk about the biggest strikers right now in Uganda. You can't fail to talk about that is Fahad Bayo by the all the way from West Nile. He has actually been very good, though actually had a bit of stint with he played for that is Proline, though he never gave them all the best. But I think that moving out of the country, then also coming back, to actually make him more mature. I think at the time when he joined Vipers needed someone so much like him to get for them the goals, because I believe that the club president, that is Lawrence Mulinda, has injected a lot of money. So bringing out Shaban, getting into Aquel Fahad Bayo, you temporarily know that what Mulinda would love to have.
Wearing the yellow, scored one of the best goals that went viral in the YouTube. Sadat Anaku against Nduparak FC clipped that ball like Dennis Bergkamp goal against Newcastle United, then sent Waso in the wrong direction. Young boy from Terego.
Well, young boy from Terego, they grow through the generation. I think that is why Mike Mutebi loved to have such young boys, by the way. From under 17, they kept on growing. He gained more momentum. He has performed very well. He has been very disciplined for Mike Mutebi. And I believe that we still have those kind of group of players, by the like of Anaku there, which I think is very good for us West Nile. It's all about that. When you get the chance to tell you, believe me, and if you are under Mike Mutebi, you need to show him that you have the discipline. Performance is the best for him.
Malingumo was the bodyguard of Idi Amin, the former president. Malingumo comes from that family. That's why you need to know that he is a West Nile top scorer of Nduparaka FC.
Well, he played a crop of games by there. That is before actually joining Nduparaka. He was actually playing for that is UPDF. If I remember, he had a very good stint with UPDF. He actually changed a crop of teams. Though actually he never believed the expectation. But I think when he came to Nduparaka, it's like he came home. Finding home was actually best for him, and he had all the time to do whatever he could do with the ball at the club. So there's no more doubt for him. He has been totally very good for the team.
Thank you very much. That has been the West Nile 11 that we brought to you by courtesy of West Nile Sports. I'm sure some will be nodding their head. Some will be saying, I felt Ibrahim Faizo should have been there. One player we forgot about is Mandela, who all will make the bench. Thank you very much.
Well, Mandela, to me, I think when you look at him, the way he grew up from Chibuli SS, going to Jinja, he had a very good stint. He played for Chibuli under Abdallah Mubiru, by the way. Those are some of the boys. He played under Abdallah Mubiru. It was very good. He spent a crop of season playing for that is the Jinja Chirinya before they changed to Busoga United. At the end of it, I believe that the coach actually had a lot of respect for him. He's one of the longest. He's coming to be one of the longest players, by the way, at Team Busoga United to me is so much good in the midfield. I remember that by the time when they were playing against URM, it did a lot of wonders, creating a lot of chances and even scoring a goal. To me, it is actually very good for West Nile. With all this crop of players, believe me, the talent is totally huge.
This will take us to the score, which will come later. Score means Samson Caesar Okuti, the dissection of his career. Thank you.
Work. So say man I work. Trigger finger
DJ Dreamex.
Work. Make you wiggle like a worm. You wanna learn. Get on top of me and work.
DJ Dreamex.
Work. You feel right till it turn.
DJ Dreamex.
I've been stuck in my own world. Fuck my ex and her home girl. I swear I ain't been sober since you told me it was over. Fucked up. Till the last time you seen me was fucked up. You know I said some things, you said some things. Neither of us really mean it. Didn't mean to hurt your feelings, yeah. Cause I know you see me. From the rats and the flies and the roaches to the mansions with gardens and roses. You know I work. This is it, man, I work. Bitches getting on my nerves. They love the way I work. I'm smoking.
Y'all are wine good like them have no skeleton. You want to take a beer ride on bike, no element. Straight to the hilltop, a that element. She want good as think one thing penetrate. Run a care about a pass on you.
You're turning me on, my God, you're turning me on. When I'm on, you're turning me on. When you're whining, you're turning me on. My God, you're turning me on. When I'm on, you're turning me on. When you're whining, sexy muleke. Alikunina bintu bye, achankalanya bongo wange, achankalanya mind yange. Anyamusinga muchidula, taliyo, Mr. Waiter, muwe chanywa, njakusasula. For this girl with the baddest behind, njakusasula. For this girl with the baddest behind, njakusasula. You're turning me on, my God, you're turning me on. When I'm on, you're turning me on. When you're whining, you're turning me on. My God, you're turning me on.
LP Shad is still presenting Bushfire. Are we still on top of the charts? Meeting them know that. Mama Pera Marware, Happy Texas, Paco Seppi Street Yada, Happy Texas, Happy Mama Pera Marware, Happy Texas, Paco Seppi Street Yada, Happy Texas. Lego. Start from the right from the start. My under me niggas ya basi tega mi kwasi. Esarsi ne dinga mi awilu mi papi taxi. Agunga kindrazi ya basi mi awi blanditi ovusi. Me fini sari sonu viet mabilia aliosi. Nima waka ma story njezo ini kaosi. Osundra balu mini rakini bandro kose sase. Yon pati bon fuso njezo miname okosi. Tajiri kavini feku mi yokiniri wasi. Faulo mavu street era mangavini munda hakisi. On DC arisi oposi paka lasti. Kalasi. Come up with a marone, Happy Texas.
You struck my heart just like Afghan. So is this what they call love at first sight? Yeah. Oh baby, give me your number so that we can talk later. Are you on FB or only good Twitter? And you could run you over, yep, Peter. That's why I'm saying, give me your number so that I can holler you. I can holler you. I can holler you. Give me your number so that I can holler you. Yeah. Oh baby, give me your number so that I can holler you. I can holler you. So I can holler
First things first, I'm a realist. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. Let 'em feel it. And I'm still in the murder business. I can hold you down like I'm giving lessons in physics. Right. If you want a bad bitch like this, drop it low and pick it up just like this. Couple ace, couple
DJ Drainix.
They have a ticket on my wrist. Taking all the lips straight, never chase it. Never stop like we bringing 88 back. What? Bring the hooks in where the bass at. Champagne spilling, you should taste that. So fancy, you already know. In the fast lane, from LA to Tokyo. I'm so fancy. Can't you taste this girl? Remember my name, how to blow. Boys tell them say we need $100. City boys see me now. Rosary, Spice Diana.
Baby jump on that bed. Baby jump on that bed. Mukwano jump on that
Spice Wagwan. Catch me in this area, boy, make me tip on me toe. Give it to me better than ever before. Me and wine and give you things you never know, yeah. Yeah, yeah, napenda ukinigusa. Boy, tia mate kama hakuna mafuta. Tunafanya love kama tunafanya vita. Tia chuma ndani nije kama mara sita. Me baby boy, baby jangondabe. Come sing me nione. But baby jangondabe. Unipe tam tam baka nikome. Boy, make me say you me daddy, yeah, yeah. Then you make me take you to me mommy, yeah, yeah. Me love you long time. That's why me I sing,
baby jump on that.
Minutes back, we had an engineer Oloya discussing the West Nile UPL Team of the Year. Now I have a different guest in the names of Kim Naz in the building. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Hotel Vegas. Thanks very much.
We had a talk about this team of West Nile UPL starting in 4-3-3. Alionzi Nafian in goal, right back Atendele Girga, left back Mustafa Chiza, central defense Muhammad Rashida, together with Asiko Bashir of Vipers. Across the midfield, Gift Ali, Wahab, Cromwell, Abang. Then up front, the three, Fahad Bayo, Anaku Sadat, Malingumu, Julius. What's your take of that team?
A very good side, quite a very good side. Because if you look at West Nile, I think for this particular season, the household names in West Nile football, I think, did not surface due to the poor performances they had, and others had injury issues. You'll talk about household names like Toha Rashid being one of them, but this season he never had a good showing with his new club, that is Vipers, and that was much attributed to the injury that he got. And then you'll talk about the likes of Mohamed Shaban, we all know is out injured as well. Quite a number of household names in Uganda, in West Nile football, or West Nile as a region, but they were out injured. So going by the team that has been selected by West Nile Sports, I think I will 80% agree with it because it's quite a good side. However,
20%.
However, the 20% to me still goes out with some gaps that I feel are not being filled yet. If you talk about the attack that has three, I have one, Anaku Sadat, of course, of KCCA. He's a very young lad. And this season, comparing his performance this season to the previous season he had with the junior team, you will think that he had a better performance. Now with the senior team, being it's his first season in the senior team, with the senior team, I mean, and that is Mike Hilary Mutebe. I think he even like a few days back was being interviewed. I remember him saying that he does not agree with his performance for this season. I think he expected him to bank maybe double-figure goals, but it never happened for him and with this first team. So that also raises, you definitely will know that he didn't achieve his potential or what he really wanted to deliver for KCCA team. Looking at him and other strikers who come from West Nile, or some of the attackers who come from West Nile and playing for other different clubs, you will think that one of the names or household names that I think performed to the best is Amaku Fred of Maroons. Much as they've been relegated, I think Amaku Fred to me was one of the phenomenal figures in that Maroons team. I would definitely want to have him in that front three.
Someone would say they had a similar problems with Anaku Sadat. Injuries. Sadat at some point got injured. He was scoring goals. You remember that fantastic goal against Ondoparak FC? Got a niggle. He was down on the bench. The same thing happened to Amaku. Scored a goal against Vipers. Immediately, he still has got... I met him some few days back. He showed me his leg is like... this is what is causing me problems. Maybe they both suffered injury issues.
You know, Vegas, the reality is football, actually statistics do not lie in football. In football, strikers' achievements have been measured by the number of goals they score. If you look at Amaku Fred this season, ever since he made that move from Chirinya to Maroons, I think he has been fantastic, particularly for this season that has been aborted. I think he has been fantastic and he has been getting goals. The chances he has been given, I think he has never defied, or even under the stewardship of the new, that is, of course, already sacked, that is Maroon's coach. I think he never disappointed anyone. The chances he has been given scoring that goal against KCCA, I thought that was enough to say that Anaku was, the Amaku Fred himself was fantastic. So I would really not have, that is, I would not have, Anaku Sadat in that team. To me, I would rather have Amaku Fred in the front three, because Fahad Bayo being household name in Ugandan football, like like the previous guy talked about, Oloya Williams, of course, engineer clearly stating that if you talk about strikers or attackers in Ugandan football and you fail to mention Fahad Bayo, then you're still talking about another country. I think I 100% agree with him. I would rather have a front three that will instead have a Bank Romeo. Yeah, I will not have a Bank Romeo as a midfielder. I'll put him as one of the attackers in a three-pronged attack, where I'll have Fahad Bayo as the man leading the line. In the other flank, I'll go in for Amaku Fred. Then in the other side, probably I'll go for the man we just talked about.
That is Kim Naz's view, but he's here for the score. That is Samson Caesar Okuti career dissection, which welcoming him for it. Once again, let's look at his career. I think one of the best strikers from West Nile we have ever had, right from secondary school and so on and so on.
Caesar Samson Okuti, I think, has defied the odds. Quite a number of players, like talents in the past, have surfaced from West Nile, but they haven't achieved their potential. Because if you look at way back in time, you will think that before Samson Okuti, there were already players who showed potential, but they didn't turn out to be the household names in Ghana football. You will mention names like Karinga in the past, the likes of Tamale, Tolib. Then you talk about the likes of even his brother, Adnan Barros, I think, was one of the household names from the earlier days of their careers. But they never defied the odds. You'll talk about the likes of Yaba. Yaba played for Arua Public Secondary School. True. But out of the set or crop of players who came up from the secondary schools, particularly, there is Samson Caesar Okuti himself, starting from Arua Hill, going to some few primary school, then ending up at Mvara SS before moving to St. Joseph's College, Jombati. I think from that time, Idiofe Hills came through and gave him the platform. So the guy never looked back. However, ranking his performance and again his career
when you look at the likes of Yaba, Karingas, and so on, they are talented. Some people even said people like Onyea were better players than Samson Caesar Okuti.
I perfectly agree.
What did Samson Caesar Okuti do different from those players?
There are quite a number of factors that you consider. For you to make it at the professional standard or professional level, there are quite a number of factors that you really need to look at. One of them is how much career guidance do you get from the people who stay around you? And then secondly, who are these people pushing you? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about the issue of urgency. There are quite a number of players who have faltered and their careers have ended because they have not gone through good managerial hands. I think that has played a very huge part as far as talent from West Nile is concerned. So if you look at Caesar Okuti in particular, I think from playing for St. Joseph's College Jombati, and by the way, one of the things Caesar Okuti has brought his career never to attain the highest level that we expected, based on the talent that he has. To me, I think he wasted too much time, that is in the secondary level, because after completing secondary, senior 6, I think he went for other recipients. He even went, that is St. Mary's Chitende, here coming back to Alliance Global College at some point. And again, I met him at Mvara SS as one of my hobbies. So I think he wasted too much time there. But Idiofe Hills gave him the platform. Moving to Bonamwaya, remember that season when he played for for Idiofe Hills. I remember there was that particular fixture way back when he featured against Victor's FC. By then, I scored a brace. One was a penalty. That was a defined moment. Scouts in the stands, and definitely he was picked by Mulindu, that is Bonamwaya by then. So Bonamwaya picking him and taking him to higher ranks. Of course, we saw a few other clubs coming through. Within Ugandan football, he played for quite a number of clubs. You'll mention the current KCCA, he featured for KCCA. Then he had a stint with Express, as we all know, but he didn't have a good time with them.
Where did he get his best move?
His best move to me was
not in terms of money. but game in the pitch.
I think his best move was coming back to Onduparaka Football Club because there he had the game time. He was a leader. He was more of a father figure to quite a number of young players.
How
but
about his move after moving from Nasri to Onduparaka FC in the regional league, and then getting fitness, going to Express and scoring goals for Waswa Bossa? How do you rate that move?
Before even that, he made that move to Vietnam. I remember playing for a club called Visay Minh Hang.
Yes,
he played for that club.
That was when he was still a Vipers player.
Exactly.
But when Vipers released him as Bonamaya, he decided to move to Sudan. Then from Sudan, he moved and played for Onduparaka FC at the regional level. Then from there, he made a move. He took a gamble. He went to Express and begged Waswa. He was supposed to go to AC Villa. Begged Waswa bosses like, "Can I play for you?" Scored goals after goals, and then KCCA came begging. Was that not move worth?
I think that was one of his best moves. Of course, if you look at how he announced himself into Ugandan football, having been picked for Sekafa here and there and playing against Egypt at some point, those were already times when he had already announced himself. But if you talk about the Express move, I thought that was fantastic. It defined a lot about him because that was the time many other clubs even came for his signature. However, he chose a very good move. To me, going to Vietnam at some point, that was entirely to make money because you can't go to a country where they actually grow rice. You think you're going to make it in professionally. I thought that was, to me, not the best that he actually happened in his footballing career. But many expected Caesar to achieve more than what he achieved. His move to Onduparaka Football Club, why to me it remains or goes down to history, is because he came back home, he got the home support, and he defied odds, banking goals at the age of around 33.
But let's talk about the move to Vietnam. If you look at the Vietnamese league, they have structures better than we have in the Ugandan league. And this is where Charles Livingston Babazi played as a coach player.
Yeah, he did.
And he kept on interacting with Sizo Kuti while he was in Visay. I think it was all down to the politics of trying to say that, we want this much from this club to get a signature of a certain player.
I think it goes back to what I just said. If you even personally pick a call and ask Charles Livingston Babazi, I'm quite sure inside him, if he actually tells you the reality, he will tell you, I went there to make money. Because in Vietnam, I know even up to Europe, some players from Europe still end up playing in the Indonesian league, others play in the Vietnamese league, just like you say. But at the end of the day, it's money making. I really don't think if Caesar Okuti's move to Vietnam was entirely to extend his professionalism or to go higher in his football ranks or going down to history. So I strongly believe it was entirely money. But Caesar Okuti needed to do a lot more. If I rank his career, I think I'll put it 60 out of 100%.
Quick one.
Yes.
You have Shaban at the age of 22.
Yeah.
Assume Caesar Okuti was 22. Fahad Bayo was 22. Whom would you pick for West Nile to play for Arsenal?
At the age of 22, I think if you look at the three players you've mentioned, Mohamed Shaban at his 18 to 20 within that bracket, trust me, he was something. Even
just assume with Okuti Caesar, they are the same age. Which striker would you pick?
Okuti Caesar at that particular age, I think that was the period when I said he actually wasted too much time in football, secondary football. If you look at his talent by then and Shaban's talent at that particular age, and then Fahad Bayo at that age, I think I'll still go for Mohamed Shaban. Though Samson Caesar Okuti, to me, wasted. Because if he went to gotten actually a brighter or bigger platform, by then he would have expressed himself more. But Shaban era was more commercialized. Football was already more commercialized, and he got the support. He had everything to flourish. I think Shaban showed better and bigger talent or quality at that age.
Kim says it's the skinny giant, Mohamed Shaban of Vipers. We are here at Desert Breeze, the best accommodation. When you travel to West Nile, it's the only best place where you get everything you want. They have got the best swimming pool right now. I can confirm to you. And if you want to advertise, you can come over. You can always contact us through Facebook, and we strike business and we advertise you. Let your product go viral. Not forgetting the Oslo Arts who cover us. You can hire them for weddings and so on. Don't forget that. Kimnas, we are heading international. It's Manchester City up against Arsenal. at Etihad Stadium. We have missed English Premier. How much have you missed English Premier League?
Wow, I can't express. The words alone can't actually describe how much I've missed the English Premier League. If you talk about the return of the English Premier League, I think ordinarily someone who is viewing right now must be asking the question, is it true it's even returning? Because at first when the COVID-19 hit the entire world very hard, though other parts survived, like in Uganda, where we have not registered any death case. But I can confirm to you, in the United Kingdom, it has been something else. Death toll keeps rising every now and then. But at the end of the day, if the talk of the return of the English Premier League is what we're talking about, then it's more of a blessing. It's something that we really, really miss. More especially me, having time with friends, getting back home and trying to watch these games. And now under lockdown, it's a different story altogether. But the Premier League returning, trust me, it's something that has been missed by the entire world.
Let's take you through some of the fixtures that will be played in English Premier League. Match day 30 will have Watford up against Leicester City. You have Bournemouth taking on Crystal Palace. Brighton takes on Arsenal. Manchester City takes on Burnley in match day 30. Norwich hosts Southampton. Aston Villa up against Chelsea. West Ham will take on Wolves. Spurs welcomes Manchester United, who are high for the pandemic. Then Everton home. It's a derby, but the main focus will be this Thursday's game, where Arsenal travel away to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, two sides he has beaten most, Athletic Bilbao and Arsenal. Do you think it's going to be the same old story?
More of a same old story. But if you talk about this fixture, I think Man City up against Arsenal and Arsenal again traveling away to Etihad Stadium, I think it's a very big thing that Mikel Arteta will actually be looking forward to, because this is a fixture that defines a lot. It comes with some bit of emotions, more especially for the two managers. How will you just wake up in the morning and assume or think that I'm going to be versing the man that I thought myself, or the boy that I've been eating together with, feeding from the same plate and having time together? I think it raises a question of emotions. So I think this fixture is going to be a very big one. And if you look at Arsenal and Man City, these are two big clubs in England right now. Though you will think that looking at the current status, Arsenal actually is far below Man City, looking at the current status. But on history, or going by the history, Man City have always not been like Arsenal Football Club. So particularly for this fixture, I think looking at the position of the two teams, Man City have gotten a lot of issues within the club. If you look at Pep Guardiola and his boys, I think there's always that division that has come through by the mere fact that UEFA has imposed in a ban on them as far as UEFA Champions League and the financial fair play rules is concerned. I think that is already dividing the dressing room. So that to me will not be an excuse to lose a game against Arsenal Football Club, knowing very well that prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, they never had a very good time, because losing to Man United both home and away to me was an eye-opener for Pep Guardiola. Now against Arsenal Football Club, a team that is managed by a boy that he actually managed and controlled himself at some point, I think he'll want to defy the odds. Because if you look at their previous there is a meeting, you'll think that Pep Guardiola never had the better showing against Mikel Arteta, his young boy. So this is going to be a defining time for him. And if you look at Arsenal Football Club, where they are, maybe they will have nothing to lose. Because if you look at the ambition of playing in the UEFA Champions League, even Europa League for next season, is quite a difficult task for Mikel Arteta and his boys now.
Now, if you look at Pep's start up against Arsenal, he has had impressive stats against Arsenal.
Yeah, he did.
What has been so difficult for Arsenal to get results against Pep Guardiola? What is that thing?
It goes back to what type of players they have. It goes back to the managerial issues they have. It goes back to how depleted the Arsenal team has been. If you look at the Arsenal of now and Arsenal like 10 years back or 15 years back, when let's say specifically 2004, the invincible Arsenal, you would think that there's quite a big change in the two sides. There's quite a big difference. So if you look at the current Arsenal team that has been depleted, and looking at that particular word, it's a depleted side with a lot of contractual issues. The likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, want away players, Alexander Lacazette once again being linked with a move away from the club, Inter Milan, Athletic Madrid, all coming in for him. Bukayo Saka, one of their potential good players coming through from the ranks, is already stalled in contract talks. That means the team is depleted. No. I think Arsenal may need to do a lot more.
Let's look at tactically. Manchester City loves to use 4-3-3.
Yeah.
When Pep Guardiola, when Arteta joined Arsenal, it's clear that it's copy and paste.
Yeah.
4-3-3. Also love to enjoy possession. Something in Spanish blood. What new do you think Arteta will bring against Pep?
Arteta has been given a lot of time now. I strongly believe COVID-19 has done him a favor. So if his intention, majorly coming from Man City or Etihad Stadium to Emirates Stadium, was to impose what he already learned from Pep Guardiola, then it means he will wish to go for a 4-3-3, which to me will come in with the question of, do they have the right players in place? Because if you look at 4-3-3 under Pep Guardiola, I think he has loved using the ball. He has loved ball-playing players. He has loved using players who love to do extraordinary things. If you look at the Man City team, I think Pep Guardiola took his time. Though in his first season, he was a pain in the flesh for some of the Premier League clubs, but he was still trying to impose. See how his 4-3-3, the traditional formation that he loves for himself, will work out. Because it worked out at Barcelona. It worked out at Bayern Munich for him. That is Pep Guardiola himself. Now at Man City, it is working out. You talk about the set of players he has from defense, all the departments. Now, coming back to Arsenal Football Club with Mikel Arteta having the players at his disposal, you will think that he doesn't have the players he will need for the 4-3-3. And remember, the Arsenal team, the board, will not give him the money to actually get the right players to have the 4-3-3 imposed in the team. No wonder he's looking at getting the likes of Phil Foden on loan, because these are young players he worked with from the Etihad Stadium Academy. So it raises the question of, does he have the right players in place? Tactically, you talked about Pep Guardiola going in for the 4-3-3. I think that is a perfect thing, in line with the fact that Mikel Arteta will want to go for the same. But can he do it better than his senior? I think no.
Let's go to the team news. The pandemic, maybe that's the only slight thing where clubs have benefited from. You're having players recovering. Manchester United have Paul Pogba has recovered. Manchester City also get that advantage where, Leroy Sané has recovered, one of the best wingers, being linked to Bayern Munich. He has recovered. Aymeric Laporte, one of the centre-backs Manchester City has missed I can say the entire team. Benjamin Mendy as well has been injury-prone. He has, again, recovered. Let's have the probable lineup of West Nile Sports of Manchester City on Thursday against Arsenal. Ederson, we suspect, will be in goal across the back four. You have Kyle Walker at the right, left Benjamin Mendy, centre-back Aymeric Laporte will be together with Fernandinho because he plays the ball very well. Midfield, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, not forgetting Ike Gundogan. Up front, Raheem Sterling, Aguero, and Bernardo Silva. Leroy Sané can wait because he has not had much game time. Let's look at the team news for Arsenal as well. They have players who have recovered as well. You have Hector Bellerin has recovered. Rob Holding, who so many say is a better player than Scrotis Papastathopoulos. Let's look at how Arsenal will line up. 4-3-3 is what we think as West Nile Sports that Arsenal are going to use in this game. German Van Leno will start in goal. Right back, Hector Bellerin. Left is Bukayo Saka, who has had a good season in that position, deputizing. Someone will doubt him, but he has delivered in that position. David Luiz alongside the Greek. Across the midfield three, Xhaka, Torreira, Ceballos. And then up front, Pepe, Aubameyang, Martinelli. What do you make of the two teams?
Perfect team news. Perfect starting lineup for the two sides. It comes back to what I said. I think COVID-19 did a favor to Mikel Arteta to allow all these players get back.
But
because
all these clubs have been in lockdown.
Actually, not only to me, why it is more to him is because if you look at the injury concerns
his team was more
before,
depleted. Is that what you say?
Exactly. So it gave him a lot of time to work with these boys.
And he's a new coach at the club.
Exactly. So it has given him the time. Even right now, it's you hardly will hear about the injury news because these players are fully recovered. They're back in training and they've been doing it together now, like past 2 weeks. I think it's going to give him some mileage, something that he can actually present against Man City come this. But otherwise, I perfectly agree with the starting lineup.
Whenever Arsenal are playing a big game, when you look at this partnership, David Luiz alongside the Scrotis, you get that fear. You see Aguero, you see Kevin De Bruyne. You look at that back line. Do you have a feeling that Rob Holding or somewhere should come instead of one of those old defenders?
I think they will still go with what they have. Having the two in the central defense, they will need to stick to that because, again, a big side like this, a big game like this, you can't be tinkering on last day, just bringing in a surprise. Unless if you're Sir Alex Ferguson, then you will have to do some bit of changes, some surprise attacks. You bring in the likes of O'Shea just to twist things around. Ji-Sung Park against Liverpool, he will do a lot of magic. He will do a lot of extraordinary things. But Mikel Arteta, with these Arsenal boys, I think he will be right to go with the same starting lineup, with this starting lineup we have given out, and going with the same central defense. Though, I love the fact that you brought out the issue of that fear that will come in having the partnership of David Luiz and Skrodan Mustafi, we all know how reckless they two can be, how they can be Mr. Calamities on a good day or bad day. I think that is the issue to look forward to. But I strongly believe he will go with what he has.
Now let's look at how Manchester United beat Pep Guardiola home and away. Solskjaer decided to have a back three, Catenessa Calcio, 5 across the midfield, compact, no space. But this Arsenal midfield looks to have space. Xhaka, Torreira, Ceballos, and they're not ball winners, distributors. Maybe Xhaka, but reckless at some point. You feel he could get a red card anytime he goes for that rush tackle. You think City will enjoy plenty of possession, finding space and space? We see crazy number of goals.
I think if you talk about Manchester United against Man City, how Manchester United decided to went on to beat Man City, both of them underway, you're talking about a certain Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who used foreign notes from Sir Alex Ferguson to defy the odds, beat Man City both home and away. Something Sir Alex Ferguson did in the previous years on
what was in
his
that
good
notes?
days.
What was in that notes?
Going with surprises, because if you look at that team, more especially the last game Man City played with Man United, who expected Scott McTominay to come from nowhere because he was out injured? He just came, bang, even with that last minute strike. I think that to me was more of a surprise because I expected him being back from injury freshly. I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to think maybe it's not much fit. Let him start on bench. But he decided there was a certain Fred in that team. Nemanja Matic was already okay. But he never forgot about the surprise that I said. That is why the aspect of the foreign notes, Sir Alex Ferguson give him the foreign notes to use. Maybe you pick a note from St. John's College Ombachan, sit in exams of Mvara essays, maybe a Republic. That is what happened against Man City. But Arsenal will not have any surprise to actually bring in or inject into that team to beat Man City. Though they stand a chance. I can't rule out. Football is football, as we all know that.
Martinelli has been one of those best performers for Arsenal, though at some point he was affected by injury. That goal against Chelsea, we all remember. Solo effort when you have Martinelli, Aubameyang, and Nicolas Pepe. And a City defense that always looks leaky from the first whistle. Don't you think they also have a chance from this front three?
If you look at the City defense, I think the major undoing for them has been the tinkering in defense because injuries actually affected them most. Aymeric Laporte that we're talking about right now, who happens to be the key figure in that central defense right now, has been out injured. So ever since he came back, I think he's trying to show that he can be that man to rely on. From Athletic Bilbao, I think he's quite well right now. And if you look at how they have been like I said, I use the word tinker, and I like using it a lot, more especially if it all looks more of a gamble. Yes, more of a gamble, because at some point you will see Fernandinho trying to be tested there. He did well at some point, but he at some point even came up confessing that really that is not what I'm supposed to do. But under Pep Guardiola, it's always free-flowing, where anyone can play anywhere. I even believe one day he will want to try Ederson, your goalkeeper, who is a ball player, even in the right fullback position. He will still do it because I believe those boys, knowing very well that passing the ball becomes order of the day. Everything becomes a possibility. I think the defense or the central defense of Man City will be good enough against Arsenal.
What's wrong with Pepe? There was that hype, the price tag, and so on, but the delivery has not been to the expectation.
Pepe is not in the right team. I strongly believe, even from day one, Pepe is not in the right team. If Pepe was in Real Madrid, where you go into a club where you have every mandate, every freedom to express yourself. We all know how tricky Nicola Pepe is. Pepe loves to use the ball. He loves to be with the ball.
But Eden Hazard is that kind of a player. He is not doing well at Real Madrid.
It's injuries. I've always looked at Eden Hazard's situation at Real Madrid. I think Santiago Bernabeu is a good ground for him.
So
but
Pepe is at the wrong club.
Exactly. Pepe is not a Man City type of player, not an Arsenal type of player, because he will not play so much with his teammates. But Pepe is one player who will send him the ball. He will do a magic dodge. All the players send the ball for another for another attacker to finish. That is what I know him for. Looking back to where he was playing, because we all know he was playing in the French League. He scored fantastic goals against Paris Saint-Germain. Who would you really think Pepe coming from nowhere and scored such a fantastic goal against Paris Saint-Germain, a very organized side under Thomas Tuchel? I thought it was because of the expression he needs, the freedom he needs. Even if you watch Arsenal critically, you will realize that Pepe is an odd man out in that Arsenal team. He wants to express himself. He wants to do a lot of magic. But
some people said since Arteta arrived at Arsenal, there has been a better glimpse of Pepe than when he was playing under Unai Emery. Specifically, the game he played against Manchester United was so fantastic. Anyway, let's go for the predictions. Do you see goals in this game?
This is going to be a tricky game because the Premier League clubs have actually been given the chance to play friendly games prior to that game. I think it will depend on how fit the players are, because we have seen how the betters, particularly the white paper players, how they have lost bets on such days, more especially when the league is just restarting or starting. It has always been a problem because a certain Wayne Rooney in the olden days will go into a bar, drink himself silly, and get back to play the next day. 0-0, Man U Norwich.
So what's your prediction?
So I will not be surprised if it turns out to be a low goal scoring match. Trust me, I will not be surprised. First of all, the two sides, to me, Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta will want to employ a same strategy in this game. So it may end up being a boring game. Matches, people have the love. A 1-0 win for Man City.
Man City. Tim Naz thinks between us and Manchester City, Manchester City, or it will be 1-1 match between the two sides. In another fixture this Thursday, Aston Villa welcome Sheffield United looking for survival. What do you make of that fixture? Chris Wilder's side, who have been one of the most improved sides.
It's going to be a rare night for me at a time when everyone will be focusing on the Man City Arsenal game. I think this is where my biggest interest is. The Aston Villa Sheffield United game, to me, is going to be the biggest game in the night because this is a defining fixture. This fixture actually means a lot to the Aston Villa fans. It means a lot to the Sheffield United fans. Remember, Sheffield United are looking forward to something special, breaking into the top four and playing. In the UEFA Champions League. No wonder they're the ones giving headache to the Arsenals. I mean, the Man City is the the Chelsea's, the Arsenal, the Man United football clubs, because that top four slot has them. That is in chasing. So that means if they win this game, it's going to be a very big thing for them because they are putting a lot of pressure on Chelsea and Man United, and that slot only needs them. Now that they are coming up against a side that is fighting relegation, then it will be so good, and they will feel inside them that they can actually win that game. Of course, Aston Villa Sheffield United have defied odds. We have seen how they have beaten sides, bogey sides. This time coming against Aston Villa, I think they have the boys fresh again, just like Aston Villa themselves, who will believe that this is yet another side. Remember, Sheffield United and Aston Villa both played in the Championship last season. So this time round, playing in the Barclays Premier League and meeting at such critical time, they probably will want to, particularly Aston Villa, they will want to think that this is the side that we beat. Remember, in the Championship, they beat them one, and they also lost one against Sheffield United. So that means coming up against them, they will have the 50-50 chance. But winning this game, to me, will be more important for Aston Villa because it will take them to a better position. If you look at their position right now on this 20-team log in the English Premier League, they desperately need this win. Aston Villa, they have a lot of issues right now. The fans are in a very big fear, going back to the Championship and losing some of their big-name players like Jack Grealish, who happens to be their captain. Quite a number of household, that's big powerhouses across Europe are coming in for his signature. So they will want to win this game to keep hold of some of their key players because winning this game will open them or will actually widen their chances of staying put in the English Premier League.
If Manchester City get banned from UEFA Champions League, meaning the good performance of Sheffield United will take them playing UEFA Champions League. The only fear may be Jack Grealish, who said that football shouldn't resume at some point. Playing for Aston Villa, you feel their best players having that kind of mindset, similar to Troy Deeney. Don't you think it could affect them at some point?
It was the aspect of safety, because this happens not only to Aston Villa. Quite a number of clubs in the English Premier League had the same. Quite big names like Serge Kun Aguero. If you think and talk about the fear that's been created by the COVID-19, and the spread itself, you will think that even Man City, Arsenal game will have some bit of fear factor, because that aspect, because Raheem Sterling talked about it. Then you have Serge Kun Aguero talked about it. Mikel Arteta himself, the Arsenal coach, actually he contracted the sickness. And then some players were taken into self-isolation. That raises the question of, do we have to think about the fear of COVID-19? I think no. This fixture will, because no wonder these games are going to be without spectators. Of course, they are going to be played behind closed doors. That means a lot. So if Jack Grealish himself, who already carries the fear, does not live out the fear, then it's going to be a big problem for Aston Villa. They need a fully fit side, a well-equipped brain, a very ready side.
Aston Villa up against Sheffield United. Manchester City taking on Arsenal. In case Manchester City lose that game, Liverpool will only need a win up against Everton in the derby to be pronounced as the champions. You can sing the ole, 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 ole. Thank you.
Them not ready for this. Empire government where you set the chain. From the beginning, lyrical confrontation. Them not ready for this. Them better know how we are on boy.
Ooh, mother girl.
Empire on boy. Them better know how we are on boy.
Ooh, mother girl.
Empire on boy.
Apusa nuka clap it, clap it, clap it, clap it.
Empire on boy.
That's why we are boss it, boss it, boss it, boss it.
Empire on boy. But they ain't glad in the business. Back up they no talking foolishness. Like but we no business. Must have your pies pa play bad game.
Yeah. Todos están pendientes a ti, pero tú puesta pa' mí, haciendo que me odien más, porque todos te quieren probar. Lo que no saben es que no te dejas llevar de cualquiera.
Oh, you did so. Every time you make me speak so. Every time you make me speak so. Every time you make me speak so. Bite your lips so. Wine pan the rhythm like a lips so. I shine bright like a disco. You know some bad before the big dog.
So much shit.
Yeah, love it when you make your something bounce like a ball. Make me think get so tall and tough like a wall. You pretty girl, this a bad man I call. Make you fly high like a bird and drop down at all. Hey, tell your body good on it, a mad me. Hey, tick mommy, back it up on me. Hey, this something so tight, it a grab me. Hey, anything me say you do it gladly.
You bend down, I bend down. You bend down, I bend down. You bend down, I bend down. You bend down, I bend down.
Anywhere we don't go, get the sauce from the sauce. Siri wa muzanyo, kuva kumutempa kamusosi. Nkwetegekede banga, nkwesunze nga cheke mu banka. Ngamazimu tanka, kulukuta oningo netaga. Kumudu jendiko, josuwa watumanye chendiko. Lero nze chintu cho, sabi mara bebe
DJ Drainix.
I'ma call you daddy, I'll call you papi. Come see me twerking, I know you like it. I'ma call you daddy, I'll call you papi. Come see me twerking, I know you like it. Shorty make a boom party, for my body.
Akari keko batu kongeremu. Akaiba keko batu chusemu. Society ready over yellow moon. Government, where are you? Where are you? Government, where are you? Where are you?
DJ Dranex.
Yeah. Weka, miu weka pesa kwenye tanki kisha nacheka. Utadhani votu hapana niko maji, utadhani mimi tangi macho nyekundu nimegeuza garangi. Unanijua ujinga mimi sitakangi, unanijua taki miu wanaua mimi kamea. Utadhani mimi maua tena kubwa, nadhani unanijua so kikundi serikali tani ya twali ngoma ikali tamu kali miu weka traffic niko gate tunawaka nataka kuteka kisha niingie keja tukuweka sifanya nimedoze kumbe naongeza kadoza asubuhi ikifika narudi tu pale tu.
Welcome back. You are watching us live on West Nile Sports. Remember, we have exclusive sports and entertainment. DJ Dranix will be live mixing for you. Don't forget the best DJ in Uganda, that is DJ Dranix, son of the soil. We also do need to support him. We are supporting everyone in every sector of talent. We are here at Desert Breeze. Like I said before, the best accommodation and everything you want in West Nile. When you come over here, it's at Desert Breeze. So mark that. Then also Arts covers this. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Kundes and so on and Lassens. Thank you very much. I have the man from German. That is Walter Bazagli. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We shall take into the German Bundesliga and looking into the first two fixtures in the German Bundesliga. I remember it's one of the top sides that returned when the pandemic has been in this catastrophic way of treating everyone. So we'll look at the first game between Bayern Munich and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Bayern almost moving away with the title. Borussia Mönchengladbach travel to Allianz Arena. What kind of game do you anticipate? Or you think Bayern, let's start, Bayern will walk away with the trophy, according to you?
It looks certain Bayern might be walking away with the trophy the way they're playing. And you see Hanks has perfected his art of trying to run away with the trophy. I think, in my own opinion, he got it when they played with Borussia Dortmund. That win alone probably has given him an edge over. But talk about the Bayern team. You see how Hanks has assembled his team. Fantastic team. Lewandowski scoring for fun. He has scored against all the teams so far in the league. Thomas Müller is doing fantastic. He has Davis, the Canadian, on form. I mean, there's nothing you can write about Bayern that you think they are not. They just look the champions elect. It's a matter of time. And I think against Mönchengladbach, they will be getting the points. Of course, there's something about that game. The coach.
But by the way, what is that new thing he has brought in Bayern Munich?
Basically, he has converted his players. You see, Bayern Munich, before he got into the job, they were struggling. He has given Thomas Müller the motivation. The retiring is right now a lead assist master for his side. You've seen he has brought out these young boys. You've seen Davis. Davis is looking fantastic on the ball. There's the man who had a beautiful chip against Dortmund. Joshua Kimmich looks fantastic on the ball. The enthusiasm is back in the Bayern team. They look like a team you look up to. Looking at also his formation, how he has changed how the team plays. You think of course we all know the Gegenpress high priest is Jurgen Klopp, but somehow the effect is trickling to the leagues in Europe. You see Pep Guardiola somehow does it, but in a different way. So Hanks plays his 4-2-3-1 formation, and you see how beautiful it is displaying for Bayern, and how they when you see their last game where they won 2-0, look at how they are spreading the long balls in between there, getting their opponents sleeping. That was Dusseldorf. They got them. Dusseldorf was a little bit resilient, but they had to break their back. using the long balls and playing in between the holes. So I think he has got it perfectly well for me at Bayern.
You know, some Bayern Munich fans have complained and said it's not the same Bayern they used to know that enjoys plenty of possession. It's more of a Bayern that can hit the ball and run in the channels. They love to combine the goals with beauty. Some of them are not happy that the goals are coming, but what Jupp Heynckes, the former coach, used to do, what Pep Guardiola has painted for them, still makes them feel that they needed something similar, not like getting the goals and hitting it in channels and having those counter-attacks.
You see, what Flicks has done is he has combined, the way I see it, he has combined the beauty and tactics. When you look at a team like Düsseldorf, the one they beat 2-0, they came, sat back and waited for his side. And what did his side do? Swing the long balls, and exactly what you have said. Swing the long balls and get into the holes and get the goals. You have seen Lewandowski now. I mean, that was his 15th and 16th goal in the league. A fantastic man. I think the system plays in his favor. And Flicks, for me, he has done a perfect job. I think in football, we have people we call the purists who love the beauty of the game. But also we have the people who are result-oriented, who want the final product.
Look at Marco Rose's side, a high-pressing side coming up against Bayern. What kind of game do you anticipate against Bayern Munich?
First of all, the tactical bit, you expect him, knowing how Bayern will try to press and play. He loves the orthodox 4-4-2. I'm sure he was going back to the orthodox 4-4-2. And you saw him over the week, how he used the Thuram to get the goals. I think that is how he's going to assemble his team. They will come in the game very cautious, knowing what they want. And remember, he's a very slippery coach. When you look at his previous team, the one he coached, he liked the orthodox, but in the middle of the game, he would always switch formations. And with the players he has in his team, I think he has the option of switching. And I'm very sure he will approach this game in a very cautious way, defensively, but to want to look too much against Bayern. Bayern go into the favorites, but I think he's going to switch from 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3. Depending on how Bayern approaches him. You know, for Bayern, it's easy. And Marco, actually, for me, why I think Marco is the biggest man Bayern should look out for, probably would give a ray of hope to, is that he knows how to mark out the big men. If you've been following him, he superly knows how to mark the big men of the day. And I'm very sure, I think Lewandowski might not get a goal in this fixture.
Borussia Mönchengladbach are coached by Marco Rose, one of the best coaches that was tipped to replace, Jurgen Klopp. Is said to be having the same playing style like Jurgen Klopp, the gegenpressing, the high metal pressing, which you talk about. Expect a high flying game up against.
I'm giving it to
Media Powerhouse, where we focus mainly on offering digital services like content marketing, social media management, and photography and the likes. So many our work is on digital platforms. My name is Pius Naru. President Media and Communications is my hustle.
In German, he's doing so well, plays for Canada national team, a left back you need to watch out. He scores goals, it's true, offers the width for the team, creates chances. Robert Lewandowski says he's the best left back in the world. I have a similar thought. Some people will say it's my Robertson. Okay, let's go to the next fixture. By the way, this is where you can get your betting tips as well. You note these games down because I have the expert who has ever been in German will give you the right things from German. With the German climate, he always gives you the best. Fortuna Düsseldorf up against Borussia Dortmund, BVB.
Struggling Düsseldorf, of course, they will be at home. We saw them, they had a 4-0 thumping by Bayern. Bayern had a good night against them. I don't think there will be a big resistance against Dortmund. Dortmund has hopes that probably Bayern might flatter at any point. As I said, Marco Reus might come in with surprises. Dortmund is hoping on that. But Dortmund surely will be getting good results against Düsseldorf. There's no resistance at any point. Yes, the match before they played Bayern, they got a draw and they looked impressive defensively, but Bayern got a way of breaking them up. As I said, they got the long balls and got in between the spaces and scored the goals. Against the Dortmund, I hope Haaland might come back if he's back into the team, that will be some energy for Dortmund. But Dortmund's attack looks to be an attack which is looking for the goals, and surely they will be wanting to chase, that is Bayern, for their money. Düsseldorf, the way they are playing, defensively, there's no chance. I think there will be a stumbling block to the Dortmund side.
By the way, their Leeds man, that is Alan Holland, who missed the first game where Dortmund beat Paderborn 6-1, maybe also in this game against Dusseldorf. Okay, let's talk about the shifting of Lukas Piszczek from the right back position to centre back, where he's now playing together with Akanji. There is Zagadou.
You realize that the Bundesliga, as you realize that in the Bundesliga, there's a lot of shifting of players. As I told you the first time before when we were on set here, I told you the first time I saw this transition was when Philip Lahm was converted. Philip Lahm was converted from a fullback to a midfielder. You will talk about how his movement in between the field, something very beautiful to watch in the Bundesliga. We have seen Davis being converted. You will mention them, a couple of players being converted into roles. But again, talking about the Piszczek conversion to the centre back, it's about the formation. It's how the manager tries to look at who plays well. It's again the gift of the players. How talented are these players in the various forms? Yes, he's good as right back, but converting him to a centre back. And look at the guys around him. They have made him look perfect. Just look at the height of the three centre backs, not even centre backs, but the three defenders for BVB. You'll be amazed to see how fantastic they were against Bayern. I think that was one of the best displays in the post-COVID era for a defensive lineup I've seen so far since the beginning of leagues in Europe.
Look at the fixtures to be played today in German Bundesliga. Hoffenheim up against RB Leipzig. Tomorrow, fixtures, Wolfsburg will take on Freiburg. Fortuna Düsseldorf welcomes Borussia Dortmund. Hertha Berlin will be up against Eintracht Frankfurt. Cologne entertains Hertha Berlin. Paderborn takes on Werder Bremen. Bayern Munich up against Borussia Mönchengladbach. The game we have just discussed. Maybe a few predictions. Bayern, Mönchengladbach.
Obvious win for Bayern, 2-1. Pepper people put an over.
And then RB Leipzig today up against Hoffenheim away fixture.
Hoffenheim doing very badly. You would be very comfortable putting your money on RB Leipzig.
Then Freiburg traveling to Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg have been having torrid times up and down. You would think Wolfsburg would want to make amendments in this game. I would make it an over. Goals will come in those games.
And then the concluded discussion, Borussia Dortmund up against Fortuna Düsseldorf.
Düsseldorf have been having torrid times defensively, a team which is leaking so many goals. Recently they leaked 4 goals. I think the standard they have set of leaking goals will still continue. Against Dortmund, I don't expect them to leak not less than 2 goals.
Bremen away to Paderborn, that were beaten 6-1 by Borussia Dortmund.
Paderborn very pathetic on the night against Borussia Dortmund. I don't expect them to recover so soon. I think as well a good part. If you want more money, I think you would put an over. But if you want to be very comfortable, straight win would work for you.
West Nile Sports will board a plane and fly to Spain as we look at the La Liga.